Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the Gator Tales podcast with Sean Kelley. I'm Sean Kelley, and this is episode number 58. Great to be with you from my office here inside the swamp, and I've just completed some great interviews to share with you here in this episode of the podcast. Of course, the winter sports are still at full churn, but now spring is in the air, and the spring sports teams are on the field. Specifically in this episode, they're on the diamonds. We're going to focus on Gators baseball and Gators softball in this episode. And as it turns out, both of our guests this week toe the rubber on the mound at baseball and in the circle with softball. And I'm grateful I got to spend some quality time with baseball pitcher Aidan King and softball two-way star Ava Brown. Both teams are off to great starts. At the time of this recording, softball is off to a 14-0 start to begin the season. Meanwhile, Gators baseball, after losing their opener to UAB, has bounced back in a splendid way. They've won 4 straight and will be home this weekend against Kennesaw State. Our two guests this week are from distinctly different backgrounds. Aidan King grew up in Jacksonville and obviously plays the sport of baseball. His challenges are unique to their own, and you'll be surprised to hear about his challenges growing up and how he's turned that into a positive now on the mound for the Gators. Meanwhile, Ava Brown is from small-town Texas, Montgomery, Texas, and now has become a leader amongst the Gators and is starring both as a pitcher but also in the field and with her bat, too. That's a pretty special birthday that we'll share with you that she's enjoyed this week. That involves her play in the circle and with a swing of a bat. So let's usher in some springtime, shall we? And go on the diamonds here with the Gators. Aidan King and Ava Brown here on episode number 58 of the Gator Tales podcast with Sean Kelley. The Gator Tales podcast with Sean Kelley is presented by UF Health. UF Health has locations throughout Florida, including Gainesville, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Leesburg, and the Villages, and we're growing. Compassionate care and world-class outcomes. That's our game plan. Visit ufhealth.org to learn more. And now, the podcast designed specifically for the congregation. Aidan King last year was a unanimous freshman All-American, first team All-SEC freshman as well. We'll get to his summer in a moment, but now he's one start into his second year as a Florida Gator. I'm curious, Aidan, do you feel like a vet yet?
A little bit, just because of the fact that I know my way around here and what the idea of getting out here and winning baseball games is. So just having that under my belt gives me a better understanding of how to go out there and pitch to teams.
You started in the bullpen at the start of last season, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then it started. Could you have imagined, Aidan, that you would pitch as much as you did in your freshman year?
That was always my dream, was to come here and just throw as many innings as I could my freshman year and just try and make it the best freshman year I could have. But the way it went, I couldn't have imagined it going any better.
As the season progressed, the more people that I would talk to that would see you pitch for the first time or didn't know the backstory, I guess, they say, oh, Aidan, he doesn't look like a freshman. Did you feel like a freshman at times?
Yeah, especially during preseason. My first outing during the fall, Brody actually took a ball right past my head at 116. So I felt like a freshman pretty much all fall. But once I got it under my belt, I was like, okay, I understand this now, and I get the grasp of it.
For most humans, something like that would induce fear. Did it scare you a little bit?
Yeah, it shook me up a little bit, but I was like, this is part of the game, and I'm just going to have to get used to it.
That's the thing. I think the secret is that people saw you and didn't see you as a freshman because you seemed to play and pitch with no fear. Did you do a good job of masking things, or is that truly the way that you're out there 60 feet, 6 inches away from a hitter?
Yeah, I mean, when you're that close, it certainly puts it in the back of your head like this ball is going to come back at you fast. But it's one of those things where it's like you can't let that affect how you pitch or how you play. And if the ball comes right back at you, you just try and get out of the way. But you don't let the fear of a ball coming at you dictate how you're going to throw or pitch.
Overall, the job that you have, Aidan, you never seemed fazed by a moment. and I think in particular, the one that sticks out the most to me is your start at Texas last year. Why have you become so unfazed by any particular moment?
I think it's just how I grew up. I've dealt with a lot of challenges throughout my life, and just learning that it's all part of life, and it's just the phases you go through. And if you let one thing dictate how everything else is going to go, you're never going to succeed. So at the start at Texas, I walked two guys, and I was like, okay, well, I got to find my way out of it. So when Sawyer came out there and calmed me down, I just went back to who I was and the old, get batters out, let them get out, let them get themselves out, and they're going to get on. And if you're going to get on, you're going to have to beat me.
Most guys your age don't have challenges per se growing up. Do you mind sharing maybe what some of those challenges were that helped shape you there in growing up in Jacksonville?
Yeah, so growing up when I was little, me and my parents found out that I struggled with dyslexia. So, I've always dealt with struggles, reading, writing, you name it. And I still struggle with them these days. And, my dad also has dyslexia. So understanding that he had it but was able to succeed with it throughout his whole life, he's did very well for himself. He's a chief now for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. So it's understanding that challenges, it's just a challenge and it's just a setback, but understanding that it's a setback, but there are ways around it and to get through it. And that's just the biggest challenge, is how are you going to maneuver around it?
Aidan, can you verbalize what a challenge of dyslexia presents to someone like me who doesn't personally know what that's like?
Yeah, so when I read, like if I were to read a book right now, there would be the sentences. Well, I would pull words from the bottom of the page and put them at where I'm reading currently, and then I would also take letters from other words and create my own words. So it's a struggle, like I'm reading a sentence and I don't know the word, but I create my own word, or the word is "and," but I say "they." So it's a struggle, and it's like it would always like make me mad or just frustrated, but you just gotta learn how to move past it.
I was going to say, what is the fix? Is there one?
There's not a fix.
So there's got to be a workaround then, to some extent.
Yeah, it's just slowing down and not letting my brain or my eyes work faster than my brain. So it's just slowing everything down and just going at one pace.
Do you think in some ways that helps you as a pitcher?
Yeah, it's the name of the game when you're pitching is slow the game down, because you have control of everything. So even though there's a clock on you all the time, it's okay, well, let me use the clock to my advantage, slow down. I work fast, so when I slow down, I'll catch my breath or just look somewhere in the outfield and focus on it and just regather my thoughts.
Who knew that a challenge or a disability, as it's sometimes labeled, could actually be a weapon for you in your quote-unquote chosen profession?
Yeah, it's unique, but I take full advantage of it when I can.
When did you fall in love with baseball?
When I was really young. My mom told me when I was like 1 or 2, I would take pots and pans and like swing them around like it was a bat. So, and I started playing baseball when I was 3, so I've always loved the game.
Always just baseball? Did you play other sports too?
I played soccer, basketball, football, but once like middle school came around, I just started playing baseball more.
Were you one of those kids? And again, my son is probably just a little bit older than you, but there seemed to be this thing in the early 2000s where there was specialization. Like, my son's a baseball player, so he's going to play baseball year-round. And I got it to some extent, but it also, I guess, frustrated me that, A, why wouldn't you love playing other sports? B, how many of these kids are going to be burnt out by the time they're 13 years old? What was your path?
It was the same thing. I played baseball year-round all my life. I would play middle school soccer, flag football, because my mom didn't want me to get a concussion playing real football. But baseball has always been my focus, and baseball became more of a priority over anything else. So once that was more of a realization that this is what I want to do with my life, and I want to make a career out of it or life out of it, it was, well, I'm just going to put everything else away and just play baseball.
Summer was with Team USA, correct?
Yeah.
How did that come about, and what are your favorite things about that experience?
I got a random call from Sully one day, I think in the middle of the day, and he was like, hey, you're going to get a call from Team USA later on in the week, and you're going to be invited to play. And I was like, oh, sweet. So once I got the call, I was like, this is awesome. I mean, it's always been a dream, and I'm sure it's been a dream for everybody else to play for your country and to wear the USA across your chest. So once I got the call, I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. My favorite memory of playing there was just the experience of playing with other people from other teams. Like, I've made good friends that don't even go to Florida. Like, me and Liam went together. We hung out quite a bit, but we made plenty of friends outside of just people at Florida. So it was the experience of making friends that were outside of just Florida and learning what they do with how they play the game.
Did you ever count how many cities you visited with Team USA over the summer?
Probably 3, I think it was. I can't remember.
Just 3. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't actually go to Japan with the national team. I only went with for the freshman team, whereas Liam went with the national team. After
a spring like you had last year, and then all summer with Team USA, Aidan, honestly, how exhausted were you coming into the fall?
USA was only a 2-week thing, so once I was done with that, I was, I need to recover my body because I was exhausted. I never threw that many competitive innings, whereas like high school, I threw the same amount of innings, but it wasn't as competitive. So I hit the weight room, but it was more of like a recovery standpoint of lifting weights. And when I came back to the fall, I was well rested, body felt really good, and then it just hit the weight room really hard all fall and just went on from there.
I would imagine in your young life you've rarely reached a limit. What was that like to reach a limit or have to have this realization that my body does need a break here? I need to go about maybe this offseason a different way.
It was different. Just understanding the fact that like that was a long season. Like I've never played 56 games or 60 games that we played that year. So, it really takes a toll on your body more than you can think of. So just putting in the perspective of just I need to relax and just not do as much, still lift and get stronger, but take it more of a recovery standpoint, let my muscles build again, let my arm get healthy and relax and take the time off that I need.
In NIL and revenue sharing, which is our new era in college athletics, Aidan, I have many fans who will say to me, they're not really even students anymore. What would you say to that comment and help them have some insight into what your life is like here at Florida, both on and off the field?
Yeah, so, we normally my day normally starts at like 5:45, 6 o'clock for lifts that are like 6:45, 7. But right after lifts, I go straight to tutoring I have class at 9:30, and then I go to tutoring at 10:40, and then I'm there until like 12 o'clock. So like we still have school. It's just at a confined time because of when we have practice at 2 o'clock. So it's not we have school all day and practice later at night. Our school is more confined, and we actually have less time than a normal student would have to do homework and study, just because of the fact that we're at the field for 4 to 5 hours. So it's just understanding time management and getting your priorities straight and getting everything done.
On a day that you're going to pitch, what are the non-negotiables? I will do this. I will do this. Like, what is your process? Some of it might be a little superstitious. I'm okay with that. But what is a day that you're going to get the ball look like?
Well, so I throw on Saturdays, so it's it's on Fridays it would be a little different. I'm sure Liam's is way different than mine, but Saturday it's like a 6 o'clock game. I'm gonna sleep as long as I can, but I'm gonna go and probably get Metro Diner for a good breakfast. and come here, get a good lunch, look over all the review that we have and the game that that Liam threw last night, and then talk to Cop about it, get more of an understanding of what the team does, and then eat lunch upstairs, come back down. We all stretch. I don't stretch with the team. I stretch at a different time, and then just put my headphones in, relax, do all my stretching, and just really focus on what I need to get done and what the task at hand is.
What music in the headphones?
It's all varied. Like, I'll listen to country, old school stuff, rap. But mostly it's just country music.
Is there a pitcher that either you've met or not met that provides inspiration to you, or you want to pattern it yourself after? Is there a comp there, maybe to a guy that you watched growing up or that currently pitches at levels above you?
So I actually grew up watching Brady Singer because we had a very similar pitching style and arm slot and all that. So I followed what he did a little bit, and then just everybody else like Jacob deGrom and all those guys that have very good success I would follow, but mainly Brady Singer, just how he pitched, and we were very similar. So I just understood what he did and tried to mimic it when I was younger.
What do you want to do better in 2026?
Just limit the walks and lower the ERA a little bit more. The less runs that they score in the game, more likely we have a chance at winning.
That's pretty basic, don't you think?
Yeah, just keep it simple.
New catchers for you this year. Tell me about them.
Carson Bowen, he's been starting, and Cole, what's his last name? Sanford? Just too many Sanfords on this team.
You've got a couple, yes.
And AJ Malzahn. They're all really good. There's no, I'd be fine with any of them catching me on any type of day. Carson catches me quite a bit now, and he's almost like Luke Heyman. He's an older guy. He understands the game. He's been around for a while, so he knows what's going on, and he looks at hitters differently than what I might look at or how Copp and Sully look at it. So it's just understanding him and getting a grasp of why he's doing it.
What's one thing that you don't believe most of the fans know about you that perhaps you'd want them to know about you? Deep question, I know.
I don't know. I'm a pretty simple guy. Like, I don't really do much outside of baseball in school. Like, I'll go golf and everything, but I just live a simple life.
Do we have a handicap in this golf game yet?
Oh, my best score was like an 84, but like I'll shoot in the 90s or 100s. I'm not very consistent.
You don't get to play all that much this time of year,
No, not quite a bit.
Longest drive would be what?
I actually drove a ball 320 one time.
I liked you up until this moment in the interview. Aidan, congratulations on a great start to your career. Appreciate the visit.
Thank you.
Interesting. We've got two pitchers on this week's Gator Tales podcast. We've already heard from Aidan King. Now over to the softball diamond. And not just a pitcher, but a two-way player. It's Ava Brown. Nice to meet you, Ava.
Hello, nice to meet you.
I certainly know the way you play. I've watched you play enough. There's a certain way you go about the game that always I find entertaining. How would you describe the way you play the game of softball?
I feel like I just view myself as a top competitor. I really just try and go out there and compete and give my best every time and know that I'm going to beat whoever's across from me.
Do you like being a two-way player?
Yes, absolutely, I do.
Why so?
I like being able to play on both sides of the ball. I like being able to possibly make up for one aspect of my game with the other, contribute for my team in multiple different ways. I feel like it makes me flexible, and I feel like it, again, helps me compete.
You get to play every day, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
What a start for this year's softball team. Could you have imagined it going this way? At the time of our conversation, it's a 14-0 beginning to the season.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever necessarily expects to go undefeated or anything like that, but the way that we're competing, the way that we're playing together, the way our camaraderie has really come, I feel like we just take every game as a learning experience, and we're just trying to get better and see what we have to work on so that we're ready for conference play.
Let's dig in on that camaraderie thing. What is the vibe around this club? How do you guys gel so quickly?
This fall, we put in a lot of effort into our team building, and it was a very natural experience for a lot of us. There was no force. There was no planned hangouts or anything like that. It was more so just like, hey, we're going to go do this. You should come. And the ability for a lot of the new players to just say yes and be so willing to do things was definitely a big contributor. And then I feel like our friendships have really just meshed really well. We've been able to figure out, who we're close to, but also build the relationships with those who we may not be, and that's really shown on the field.
So this sounds quite organic, so forgive me. I'm curious where the building part of it came into play.
Really, it's more so we would just do things like team dinners, we would have movie nights, we would do things that we all just really enjoyed doing together, and then that was really easy for people to be comfortable and show their true personalities and us able to actually see who people really are off the field.
Who drove the car on all this?
I enjoy driving, but I feel like we definitely alternate because, like I said, there's just a lot of different people living in different areas, but there are a lot of us who live in similar areas, so in order to get from place to place, we do carpool, and I enjoy driving for those.
Yes, I figured you would be amongst the leaders of this group. Ava, this team lost some leaders last year. I mean, there's names that, are still prominent in the sport, but they're no longer Gators. How hard was it to replace some of those folks that were kind of the mainstays of these last couple of seasons?
Yeah, it's always hard to try and find new leaders, but coming into this year, we kind of knew what we were getting into with how many new players we had, the amount of youth that we have on the team, and so just different people being able to step up in their different roles has been very good. We don't have very many outfielders, so every outfielder in their own way has a different form of leadership. Every infielder in their own way has a different form of leadership, and I feel like that just goes across the board. Everybody knows how to be a leader in their own way and what fits their personality the best.
If this question is too early to ask you, just tell me, what is this team's superpower, if you will?
If I had to go off of anything, I would say I wouldn't even relate it to softball. I would just say that our superpower, what we've been able to do is build the relationships, and that's been the biggest thing that I've talked about. This team is so fun, so willing. This is probably one of my favorite softball teams I've ever been a part of, and the fact that we're able to have a lot of trust in each other, have really good conversations, hold each other accountable, hold ourselves accountable, things like that, that's what's going to get us far in the long run.
Ava is celebrating a birthday this week. I don't know if she's a birthday month kind of girl, but we'll just take the week. Ava Brown, I'm curious, best birthday ever this week for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I got to spend it with all of my best friends. They were so great. They were so supportive. I love them so much, and it was great. It was really good.
You're kind of burying the lead here a little bit. On your birthday, if I'm not mistaken, there's a home run involved and another win on the mound?
Yes, absolutely there was.
How many times have you competed on your birthday? I mean, it falls right in the middle of the season.
Actually, I think this year was my first year actually playing on my birthday, so it was really fun.
Really?
Yeah.
How unique is that? I mean, again, I don't know the cycles of your pre-collegiate career, but, I mean, the odds of you not playing on your birthday seem low, but yet you said this is a unique thing.
Yeah, no, I to my knowledge, I can't really remember ever playing on my birthday, possibly once or twice in high school, but it was definitely not as memorable as last night was.
No doubt. So a birthday home run. What other home runs stick out for you in your career?
I really try and look into more like postseason and conference home runs, and honestly, they're all important because at the end of the day, in a time where I will struggle or things like that, I go back to those times and I go back to how I felt, how my body felt, my confidence in those, so I try and take each one as if they're as important as the next.
On the pitching side of this equation, how are you different this year than in prior campaigns?
I think really just embracing my role, doing what Coach Walton needs me to do. I feel like we have really good conversations. He has a lot of trust in me and a lot of confidence in me. And something that we've talked about is just as a team having his back, he's always going to have ours. And so I always try and make sure I carry that presence with me on the mound.
Home is Montgomery, Texas.
Yes.
Where is Montgomery, Texas, Ava?
Montgomery, Texas is, I feel like, kind of in the middle of everything, about 3 hours from Dallas, an hour from Houston, 2 hours from Austin. It's a pretty good midway point from everywhere.
And growing up there is like what?
It's evolved so much, but when I was there was definitely not as much as there was now. I went to a 5A high school. It was actually the second high school put in the town. I was able to enroll the second year of it even being open, so I went to a brand new high school. But when I was there was a lot of trees, a lot of back roads, things like that. Now we got a Chick-fil-A. That's, big moves. Got got a Dutch Bros. There's a lot of things going on, but really small town vibes. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and yeah, it honestly reminds me a lot of Gainesville in the sense of just like a very small town, seeing people everywhere you go, things like that, and it's really comfortable.
Does it have a softball tradition in any way, or are you it? Are you the shining star of Montgomery when it comes to this sport?
I mean, I would say my class definitely started a lot of the traditions that have evolved throughout the high school there. But it was so fun at that time, and really just trying to make as much history as we possibly could while we were there was the goal, and that's what we did.
What else did you do outside of softball around your academics in high school?
Honestly, not much. I was very focused on, getting a scholarship, getting to college and all of those things. I obviously hung out with friends, and I'm still friends with a lot of girls that I played with in high school today. But it was really just, trying to be the best version of myself, figure out what I needed to get to college. And then once I actually committed, once I signed, just trying to be the best version of myself coming in so I was ready to play.
I'm visiting with Ava Brown. Did Florida find you, or did you find Florida? How'd that work?
I feel like it was a mutual thing. I actually met Coach Thomas first. He came out to a camp we had out in Conroe, Texas, actually, not far from Montgomery. And that was the first time I had met. And then I had come to a camp here pretty close to my time of commitment. And then Florida was the second visit that I came on, and I committed on campus.
Psychology major, is that still the case?
Yes.
Ava, wow me with something about the psychology major. I have no idea what you all are studying, so I'm sure it won't be hard for you to impress me with something.
Well, so me personally, what I would like to do with my psychology degree would be to work in mental health still with athletes. I would like to help athletes overcome major injuries and the mental struggles that come with that. So major ACL tears, labrum tears, Tommy John, things of that nature, and, the depression, the anxiety, all of the things that come with that. And basically just, helping athletes remember who they are and what they did before then, and that their injury does not define them.
Perfect lead into where I wanted to go next in this conversation. For you, what have been, I guess, the biggest challenges that you've gone through in your young life?
When I was in high school, I suffered a knee injury, and that's actually what got me into wanting to work in mental health, because I always just say I wanted to be the person that I had back then. And granted, I was 16 and life was a lot different than the athletes I could potentially work with. But it still is just as important to know that regardless of, social media or all of the outside factors, that your journey is your journey. And the way that you overcome an injury, or the way that an injury affects you, is going to be completely different from the person to your left and to your right. And so embracing your own journey and really going through that and doing what's best for you.
Ava, you have current teammates that have had significant battles in that sense. Do you study the way that they've gone through it? How engaged are you with them when they've dealt with some of these struggles?
I just try and be a really good support system for them. I always try and be somebody who anybody on the team knows that they can talk to. That's been one of my biggest things this year, is just building a lot of trust and building relationships. As you can tell, I've talked about it so much. And, being one of the captains on this team, I feel like that is so important, to have trust in each other. So really just, having them embrace what they have going on, and also be honest with themselves and have somebody else that they can be honest with, because I feel like that's really important.
Back to the field, Ava, when you and your teammates are having conversations now, what are they about? How open are you about what you'd like to achieve as a team?
We definitely talk goals, but something that we've really tried to do is just keep our eyes on the prize and keep our eyes where our feet are. Really trying to take everything one game at a time, one pitch at a time, one inning at a time, because at the end of the day, that's how we're going to win ball games, is taking everything one thing at a time and not trying to look too far ahead. So we've really just tried to have a lot of segmented goals, breaking up the preseason and then breaking up conference, SEC tournament, so on and so forth, and really just focusing on what the goal at hand is.
Florida Gators softball has a ton of great traditions, right? Everything from the uniforms to the sunflower to the pregame routine. Our fans are fanatical about Gators softball, but yet each team has their own little things, right? Help us get the insider's handbook on watching this team go about their process. What do you think fans should know that's uniquely new this year about some of the quirky things that might be going on with you and your teammates?
Yeah, I would say, again, losing the leadership that we lost last year, Coach Walton has been very open to that this is our team and we can kind of maneuver and create different things as we go. So we've created, we really focus on the little things and, having nice, fun sellies for everything, things like that. And it's more just like things within the team that we've been able to create and that have kind of just come as we've played, which have made it even more fun. The home run wedgies are obviously a fan favorite, and, the different celebrations.
I'm sorry, what? A home run what?
A home run wedgie? You've never seen a...
I'm sorry, no.
Well,
how do you put it into words?
So whenever you touch home plate, you get, after hitting a home run, you get a wedgie. There you go.
That doesn't sound
right
fun.
there.
Yeah, thank you. That doesn't sound fun, though.
No, it's great. It's honestly, it's one of those where it's like, oh yes, like it's fun. It makes everybody laugh, and again, just trying to keep up the vibes, make everything positive, and keep it fun.
Who's got the best nickname on the team?
Oh, Saucy Jossie for sure. I think that just fits her so perfect.
Do you have a nickname yet?
They call me AB or AB-ski. It really just depends. I feel like sometimes it's just like whenever I get into my groove and I have a little bit of swag, I'm AB-ski. But nothing tops Saucy Jossie.
No doubt.
No doubt.
I mean, that is the runaway leader in the clubhouse
Yeah.
right now. And then it is the rule that you can't give yourself your own nickname, right?
No, yeah. I mean, you can come in and be like, "Oh, people used to call me this," but most of the time, we're gonna find something for you. So,
This has been great. Thank you very much. Good luck the rest of the way.
thank you so much. Go Gators.
These two Gators will be a big part of their team's success this spring. Our thanks to Aidan King and, of course, the All-Star Ava Brown for their time with us this young season. Big thanks to our presenting sponsor, as always, that's UF Health, and thanks to those who helped produce the podcast, Sullivan Bortner and Kevin Camps. I'm Sean Kelley. We'll look for you at all the different venues here coming up. As most teams are overlapping, the crazy season is here. Appreciate you joining us for episode number 58 of the Gator Tales podcast with Sean Kelley.